Hello, welcome back to our channel, The Catalyst, our home of all solutions. So we are moving today in lesson 2. We are going to do variables and data types. Okay, and our lesson objectives are we are going to learn about basic variable declarations. We are going to understand how primitive data types are being declared and used, and then we are going to practice on how to initialize and use variables in operations. Okay, so without wasting time, let's go straight away to our C. So presently, this is just a skeleton of our program that we have here. So we'll start by talking about variables. When we talk of a variable is just like a container where values are being stored. Okay. Each time you talk of a variable, you are talking about space being created in memory to store values. And now these values are of different types. Okay. And that brings us to what we call data types. So there are so many types of data types, or let me put it that way. Okay, so let's start by how do we declare the first data type of integers, variables? How do we declare variables of type int or integers? Okay, integers are whole numbers. Okay, so declare a variable, say age, that will store the age of a student. Then we'll also declare, how do we declare variables of type real? That's real numbers. We have real numbers, we talk of fractions. Okay, in C it is float or double. Okay, so we'll take for instance height. Okay, we'll consider height as a float. The next could be how to declare what variables of type which data type. Okay, character. Okay, character we use char, and then you give the variable, and in this case we'll consider gender. Okay, now we need to differentiate between variable character and variable characters or strings. So how do we declare variables of type characters, or better still strings? A string is uh, a character. A string is when a variable contains more than one character. We call it strings. Okay. So how do we declare strings? We still use char, but this time around the size of the string must be indicated, which in this case it is put in square brackets, as you can see there. Okay. So we have declared our variables. Now, next thing we need to do is initialize values to these variables. Okay, initialize values to these variables. And how do we do that? To initialize, you simply go to the variable, you put an equal sign, and then since we are dealing with integers, we do not need to put them in quotes. Say for instance, I will decide that I will put age should be 12, height 1.75 meters, gender, I will say it should be in quotes. Okay, gender I will put M. Now for the string, the name, I will decide that it should be in double quotes. Double quotes, I will maybe put Jasper. Okay, and the next thing now, we are going to print the contents of our variables. Okay, so how do we do that? We use printf, okay, function, which helps us to print information on the screen. So so the first information we are going to print, again, it's going to be the age. Okay, we'll print the age, and age is an integer, so we use percentage d. That percentage d, or we want the value of an integer to appear in that position. And now we need to also call on the variable. What is the name of the variable that stores the value we want to see beside there where there is percentage d? It is the age. So we'll do that for the other variable. So I'll copy and paste and just modify in order not to waste a lot of our time. So the next variable is height, and height is a float. So we use percentage f, and then we'll call on the variable height to appear in the position where we have our float. Okay. So next thing, we want to print the gender stored. Okay, so it's percentage C for characters, and then we put the variable after it. Okay, so after gender we have name. Okay, the name is a string, so it's percentage S, and we'll put the variable name to appear there. Okay, so maybe I will just change the positions. We'll start with the name, print the name, the age, and so on. So that is it. Then to save, you just click on, I'm sorry, if to save, save, looks like already had save. Okay, I'll save it as variable 1, for instance. Choose the save type. I want to save the C program, so I'll click on save, and that's it. So let's run the code and see how the output looks like. So we can see that all the information are on one line. Why? Because we did not use backspace. So this was supposed to be each information. After information, each information we use a \n to go to a new line, so that the informations are not going to be on the same line as we just saw some minutes ago. Okay, so that is it, and we run and see how it looks like. Okay, so you see now, name, that's the name, age 12, and we see that floating points, there are some decimals that have been added, some zeros that have been added, which might not be necessary. To do that, to remove those decimals, we may decide that our float should appear in 2 decimal places. So you just need to put percentage t percentage.2f. Okay, and then let's run and see how it looks like now. So voila, so everything being equal, we have what we needed. So we'll move to the next thing now. We want the user to be the one to input the information rather than not initializing values to our variables. So I'm going to remove all of this. Okay, and I will do a print asking the user to enter age and the rest. So to do that, I'll just put user input age. User input values. Okay. So I'll say printf, for instance. Send a message, enter your age. Okay. Now enter your name. I'll start with name. Then okay. Enter your name. Then I'll put a scanf percentage S. Excuse me. Keep receiving calls. Okay, percentage S for strings, okay, and then I'll put an name, okay. That's I want to store in a variable name. I want the value entered as a name to be stored in a variable name. So I will do same for the others. Okay. So next I will ask for enter your height. Okay, and then I will store the height in the variable height, and height is a float, so I use percentage %f. So the next thing I may say, okay, enter your age, and age I will store it in age, in the variable age, and age is an integer, so reason why it's going to be percentage %d. So I will ask enter lastly, or enter your gender. Okay, and gender here I will use variable gender, and it will be stored in C. Okay, now I've given space to avoid white space errors. Okay, so that once we enter the age, I can also enter the gender. Without this white space, it will keep on giving us errors. Okay, so that is it. Let's run the code now and see how it looks like. So this is our output, as we can all see on the screen. We'll enter the name, Jasper. Okay, height 2.5, age say 25. I'm just entering something. Okay, you see it has stored and printed the information. Now maybe I'll make it in such a way that this information goes to a new line. Okay, good. So let's try something else. What if I decide to enter my name in full? Say Jasper Alpha. Okay, you see there is an error. There is an error. And what is the error? Why is there an error? There is not supposed to be any error. Let me try it again and see what's going on. Again. So name Jasper. No. It keeps giving me this error. Okay. Anyway, what I wanted to teach us is that we can use gets, okay, so that it can pick the name in full rather than just taking the first name. Okay. So with that, I will just change scanf to gets, as you can see here, and then the name of the variable. So let's see how it looks like now. So we get this, hopefully it picks the name in full, because when you use scanf, scan-s, percentage %s, it picks just the name, and then once you see space, it stops. So it picks only the characters before space, but this one stores everything. So height 1.7, age 27, gender male, and let's see, voila. So we see that the name has been picked, everything in full. So that is it. That is it for variables and their data types. So we'll end here for today. In our next class, we'll see how to use other functions or okay. Anyway, let's meet in our next class. I have some issues with calls coming from family. So see you in our next class. And please remember to subscribe if you have not yet done so. As you do it, may God bless you.